it's Rachel. I have hamsters, and I'm back with another podcast episode. This is my 14th episode of my podcast, and it's been almost exactly a year since I launched the podcast. I started it last April, I think, in 2023. And at the time, I was just looking for like a more casual way to do check-ins, to talk about what's going on with my hamsters without having to when I do a long form video, it's usually like a thing that I have to like sort of process for a long time. And it's like, let's say I have a hamster going through an illness. Well, I'm not going to talk about it right away because I don't know what the outcome is. So I'm going to collect videos, photos. I'm going to, kind of compile them in a folder. And then at a later date, I'll make a long form video about the whole experience and what happened and how I dealt with it, which is great if you are a hamster owner and you're like, hey, let me Google, like, how do you deal with mites or whatever it is? You can see someone's long form video about how they did it. But I realized what I was missing out on was it's something that I liked about having a blog is that I wanted to kind of just like casually check in and say, like, this is a thing I'm working on right now. I don't really know what the conclusion is. Whether it's a good thing, like a new product that I got and I'm excited about it, but also maybe I don't know if I'm going to be as excited about it in a month, or if it's a hamster health issue that like, maybe it's a big thing, maybe it's a little thing. I don't know until I go to the doctor. So I feel like there's something really great about having this casual check-in, casual chat. And that's why I started this podcast. I'm still sort of figuring it out. One thing I've been pondering on is making it more of a video podcast. Eek. I'm still undecided on that. There's something I really love about just focusing on a voice, but I also know that a lot of hamster stuff is very visual. So I guess I'm like, well, if it's a video, maybe I'll be less likely to do more check-ins because I'll have to like think about what my hair looks like and if my room is a mess. But I am curious what you guys think. I mean, I do still would want to keep it pretty casual and just sort of chat about what I am working on. And of course, I always have the blog and I always post photos of what's going on in my life and my hamster world there. And I try to do little like short form videos, at the very least hamster shorts. So you see like my latest playpen setup or cage setup or whatever it is. So, if you are a listener, if you've been here since last April or you just joined me, I would love to hear your thoughts on like, what do you like about the podcast? What do you wish it was? Do you feel like this is filling some sort of hamster void for you in some way? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So I think this is like the last episode I'm going to do of season 1. I'm just going to call this season 1. Season 1 was an exploratory season. I did do one interview. I actually did 2 interviews and then I accidentally deleted one. So the deleted interview with Little Ham Design US is still somewhere in the internet ether, and I need to find another time to chat with her because she is like such an amazing person and so kind-hearted, and like I think just like a great example of why I love the hamster world and why I love hamsters and hamster people. They're just people who notice the little details and like find magic in the connection you can have with a tiny animal, with the people who notice tiny animals, so I really think it was such a special interview, and hopefully we can get her back on for season 2. So season 2, things I'm going to try to work on. First off, if I switch to video format, that's when I'll do it. I think I'm going to make a theme song, try to make this podcast seem a little bit more professional. And I'm going to keep working on my sound equipment and see if I can make the sound quality better and continue to improve on that. So this is like a great experience for you guys. If you have any requests for season 2 and what you'd like to hear or see, let me know. And you can do that by commenting on this video if this is the YouTube format. if I also post this on Spotify, and there's usually a poll, so I'll try to do a poll so you can submit your answers, although those are sometimes limited in time frequencies. But you can also leave a review, which would be really great and helpful if it's a good review, because then other people can find the podcast and leave me their comments. You can also email me at rachelgothamsters@gmail.com. Super simple, and I usually try to reply. People email me, and I try to be good about that. So if you want to email me, send me an email. I mean, it could be not about the podcast too. You could just be like, hey, let's talk hamsters. I'd be like, okay. So speaking of this, before I go into my weekly update, one thing I was thinking about lately is how it's sort of a thing, like, I know I've showed my face on YouTube before, and it's not like I'm specifically no face, but I found that, I guess in general, I kind of wanted my hamsters to shine. I wanted it to be about my hamsters and I guess like my voice. I think those are the two things that I'm kind of utilizing, and maybe thinking about it from my hamster's perspective. I don't know if they really know what I look like, but maybe they know what I smell like and what I sound like. And so it's kind of like a Peanuts cartoon, right? Like how the adults are just like, and you never see their faces. I think that's what it's like for them. Like I'm just probably this like, and they can just feel my presence, and hopefully it's a good presence. But that's always been my perspective, or not always, but lately. I would say when I started the YouTube channel, it was very like me oriented, and it still is me oriented, but yeah, I stopped featuring myself as much. Excuse me. And and I just kind of got away from that. And one thing is, this is totally silly, but I was like, as I started a new job, and I was like, oh, what if like a colleague finds me? It's this funny thing. I have this habit that is such a hobby, I would say, lifestyle, hamster lifestyle, that is such a big part of my life. And yet I would say some of my friends don't even really know about it, or know about the full scope of it. A lot of them don't know that I have a podcast and a website. And a lot of them don't know that I have 7 hamsters. Maybe they know I have hamsters and that I like hamsters. There's this like, I don't know, I guess I get a little shy about it. And I've been kind of pondering on this, like, maybe I need to take more ownership of this and just say, you know what, this is my thing. And I'm not going to be embarrassed about this, even though I am a adult in my 30s. And, it's not maybe what you expect from an adult in your 30s, but I also think hamsters are like a wonderful pet for someone in their 30s. I go out of town a lot for work, and like, even though my hamsters do like attention, they're really easy to leave overnight if I'm just gone for a day. And I now have taught a local neighbor how to take care of them. So I feel like, compared to a dog, compared to a cat, you can be gone during the day for the most part. I mean, I have one hamster, Dexter, who like really loves attention. But, if I'm gone for one day, he's going to be okay. And I think that's what I really love about hamsters. They're just such a great like working adult animal. And I know I say this all the time. So I do want to put it out there like, hey, adults, if you want a pet and you don't want a cat or dog, and you want something furry, and you want something you can have an attachment to, and you want something that you can, I love hamsterscaping. There's something so gratifying and relaxing about it. It's like gardening, sort of. It is like a lovely hobby, and I don't think I would have expected how fulfilling it is. So I think that's a good reason to maybe show my face a little more and be a face of those hamster adults for those of us out there. I don't know. Anyway, so if you know what I'm talking about, maybe, leave me a comment, send me an email, let me hear your thoughts. Anyway, so this week's update, my big update is my hamsters will be going to the Hamster State Fair soon. Yes, you heard that right. My hamsters are going to a hamster fair, a hamster carnival. For a while I was calling it Hamster Carnival, but I think that's not quite accurate. It's more of a state fair theme. I have this adorable set that I got, I don't know, like a year or two ago from, maybe it was a year ago. from Little Ham Designs US. I got it right before she closed her store, and it's so fun. I haven't like used it yet, so I'm really excited to set it up. I have this empty cozy wow wooden cage that I got with my two robos, Ella and Peggy, and so I've set up the carnival set in there. But and this time I'm going a little bit more out. Like I have lights in there, and it's really set up like only for photos because there's like some battery operated lights and some things that like I just can't leave a hamster unattended in there, or they'll start chewing on that stuff. So I did just get it set up this past week, and I'm going to start doing photos in there. So I'm so excited. Stay tuned for photos and maybe for a little video. I think I did show it briefly in my 60-second hamster room, quick run around. And then in the main playpen, I am also going to make that carnival themed. So I got the Bukastat donut wheel, which is so cute. It's like that thing that I've wanted for a long time. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really fit in with my hamster cages because my cages tend to be more like neutral tones / like naturalistic. And then maybe I'll have like a mushroom hide or like a little berry or something. But it's perfect for hamster carnival. And I actually just got two other things from In a Dove. If you know In a Dove, they're on Etsy. I love In a Dove. They make like the cutest little wooden like laser cut hides that are like really creative. I got a Christmas tree from them for my Christmas playpen. And I'm sorry, someone is calling me. I'm just going to pause for a sec. Okay, I'm back. It's been like several hours, so I had to actually listen back to where I was. But so I got this In a Dove Christmas tree. If you saw some of my photos on Instagram or on my website, or I usually post on YouTube in the community spot too. So I got this really beautiful Christmas tree from In a Dove. And I decided, hey, let me see what they have for a state fair theme. And they have like a little truck that you can customize, like an ice cream truck. And so I asked for it to be Peggy's Popsicles. So I'm going to have a little popsicle truck. And then I also have, what was the other thing? Oh, I got a lemonade stand. So I'm getting two of those. And then I actually also purchased a grave marker for Thor, so we will put a pin on that and come back. But so I just did a little In a Dove purchase from Etsy today, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to try to be better about doing like quick little videos if I can. We'll see. But maybe I'll do a little unboxing. Either way, you'll get to see it because I'll take photos, and it'll be on Instagram, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on my website. I know sometimes there's like a disconnect where I feel like the YouTube people don't go on Instagram. I think YouTube people do look at my website. So I do try to make sure that it's like in those places, but I do try to post in the community section of YouTube as well, just to kind of like share the love and show you guys what I'm working with. So again, if you have an opinion about that, if you're like one of the YouTube listeners and you're like, I really don't look at your website, I don't go past YouTube, let me know, because that's good to know that like that you enjoy the community photos, and that's meaningful for you, or that you like it when I post a video of something that I already have shown on my website. Sometimes I don't know if I'm being repetitive or unnecessarily repetitive. So yeah, let me know what you like. Super helpful. So I got that stuff, and right now I'm kind of working on the playpen, and figuring out how to make it feel themed. I need to put the lights back up and get it all ready so I can start taking photos and letting my hamsters enjoy it. I actually am thinking maybe I'll set up, I have 2 of those nylon pop-up playpens, and I might set up the second one because I do often have like a hamster at the same time that wants to come out, and maybe it'd be nice to have more than one playpen for them, but it will take up like my whole office. So I'm trying to decide like what to do. TBD on that. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. But I do have to say, on the whole, isn't it amazing that we are in a place right now? I mean, when I got a hamster in 2020, there was like hardly anything out there that you could buy for hamsters. Like everything that I bought for Steven was like for reptile, or it's like, and I had to look up like what exact thing is safe and what's not safe. And now, or you're using like, oh, here's a pot, but it doesn't have a hole in it, so it's perfect, or a mug, or you had to get really creative with or make your own platforms, that kind of thing. It took a lot of creativity, right, to get it right. And now there's so many great resources. There's a lot of brands like Night Angel and Bukastat that sell hamster-specific hides, hamster-specific various types of materials like coconut soil and different types of textures and sand. I mean, I think it is so cool that we're in this place where someone can buy a hamster or get a hamster, if you get a hamster in a pet shop or if you adopt one, and you can Google hamster stuff on, or go onto Amazon and look, and you'll have a bunch of stuff there. I will say it still does take some sorting because there's definitely things out there that are not appropriate for hamsters. But if I met a new hamster owner and they were like, what should I buy? I would say just stick to Night Angel or Bukastat. For the most part, you can't go wrong. I think there's some products that I probably wouldn't recommend depending on the hamster that you have, or some of them have cages that are a little too small. Or, I would say like, don't buy, right, like wheel size. I'd be specific about what wheel you would need to buy. But for the most part, it does limit it down a lot from like what it was before, and it's significantly better, higher quality than what we had before. So it is really cool, and I feel so grateful to live in this hamster positive world. So I do think that's really exciting, and it's so cool to have these Etsy sellers like In a Dove that are doing such cool stuff. So speaking of that, sorry, I got a little distracted here by my list of updates. Right. So coming up on Saturday this weekend, I'm going to do a celebration of life for little Thor. This is the first time I'm going to do this, so we're going to see how it goes. I'm actually kind of afraid I might cry. I'm inviting some friends over, and I'm going to bury Thor, and I even ordered a little grave marker with his picture on it from In a Dove. Hopefully it gets here on time. TBD. And I invited, I don't know, like 6 people over, maybe I think about that. So I'm gonna serve like Thor themed things. He loved bananas and like tropical flavors, so maybe like some pina coladas, or I don't know, banana bread. If you have any ideas, let me know. But it's going to be non-hamster people, so it might be a little silly to them. But I'm okay with it being silly. Like I mostly just felt like I wanted to have a little bit of fanfare as I bury a hamster. It feels like a little sad to just do it. Like I wanted to let's make this an event. Let's put his picture up on the TV. Let's remember his life, and then, bury him and have a toast to him, and a nice excuse to get together with some friends. So we'll see how it goes. But I am excited to finally do it. My dream was really to Photoshop his little head onto to have a framed picture of him, or a big picture on an easel, of him in a little suit. But unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to do that this time. I'm just going to project his picture on the TV. I think that'll be good enough. So I'll just have him on the TV. And then maybe I'll just do a little toast, and I'll talk about where I got him and his personality, and then we'll bury him. And I think it'll be fun. Maybe strange. Again, this is going back to the thing I talked about at the beginning of this episode, which is how I sort of segment this part of my life. And typically, a lot of the times I'm very shy about the fact that I have hamsters, and I don't always tell people. It really depends on the person, and if they seem kind of interested in it, then I'll tell them the full extent to it. I'm actually, you should come see my office, because I think what you're thinking is not what it is. You think about hamsters, the kind of hamsters we had as kids when they lived in small tubes and tiny little cages. You should come see how my life is hamsters now. And it's way different than I think you imagine. And people are usually like, wow, oh my gosh. And then I've had some people like want to bring their kids over and see it. And so, you know, I mean, it usually is positive feedback, but it is just like a strange thing to share. And I think I'm trying to take more ownership of it and just be confident in it. And we all have our quirky little hobbies. So this is mine, and I'm going to share it this weekend with some friends. And I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, let me know if you guys ever feel the same way and what you do about it. Are you guys honest? What do you do? Yeah. So I think, what else is going on? Ooh, I know. So I put I'm in the process of updating Miles's cage. So Miles is the robo I have who spins. And so I got that new stuff from Taffet Pet. And I was going to update Miles's cage. Miles had like a pretty simple bin cage. I just kind of like got him in there after I got him from Pet Supplies Plus. And then because he was spinning, I didn't really know what to do to upgrade his cage. I was kind of afraid to stress him out. Whenever I change things in his cage, he does tend to like hide for several days. And so I felt very unsure like how to move forward. And after meeting with the vet, and the vet was like, yeah, I think it's kind of an OCD thing, the spinning, and that otherwise he has a clean bill of health, no other neurological issues or health issues. So she suggested trying to make his cage more complicated and also changing things more frequently to sort of stimulate him. So I added the peep sheds in there. I'm not really set on the location, but I just kind of put it in so he can get familiar with it. And as I was doing it, I noticed this cool little feature, and I recorded it and put it on YouTube as a short. But the two rooms that are sold separately from the peep sheds, it's like the library. Is it the study and the bedroom? I think it's the study and the bedroom, and they're one room each. They have magnets on the side. So when you get them close, they just sort of snap together, which is super cool. And then the lids actually pop open. So you can, like, if you had it buried in their bedding, you could just sort of pop open the lid and clean out, which is really great because the other peep sheds I have, which are the sort of the typical ones from Night Angel, I have one of those in almost all my cages. My hamsters love them. They're great. And they work great as a platform. I mean, I think it's a really great versatile item to have, those peep sheds. But one of the things is often my hamsters will use them as like a bathroom area or a sleeping area, and cleaning them out means I have to like, lift them out. And that can be pretty disturbing to their life situation. And also sometimes it's hard to like kind of quite get it back the way it was. So this is pretty cool. I do really like this feature. I have never seen that on a peep shed before, that the lid is removable, only on like a multi-chamber hide, right? So yeah, kind of a cool feature if you're in the market. The one thing I would say about that Taffet Pet, I don't think I would recommend it for Syrians. It is great for dwarfs. Actually, I really like it for dwarf hamsters, especially small robos, because it is quite small. And one complaint I have in general about hamster stuff is it's often kind of like made for Syrians, it feels like. And so it can be very large and like hard for a robo to use. And this I think is like a great size for a robo. So if you have a little robo, I would definitely check out they don't call it a peep shed. It's like Taffet Wooden House. You can look up Taffet Pet, and it's like called like either the library, the study, or the bedroom. And it's 3 different items, but they're kind of listed under one listing on Amazon. So that was a really cool, exciting thing. Other stuff going on. Oh, Maurice. Okay, so ongoing stuff with Maurice. Maurice, of course, had that little abscess in his mouth. I think I talked about that. He's got some dental issues. I probably need to bring him back now to have his teeth trimmed again. He lost one of his top teeth, and then the other tooth was curling under, and the bottom teeth were too long. So I've been feeding him ground up food. Even though he had his teeth trimmed, it seems that they're not like working to full function because he's still not eating hard foods, and even like soft hard foods. Like I tried giving him pecans or cashews, something that's very easy to eat with softer, that's not a hard food. But he's not doing it. So I kept up with the ground up food. I have a mini Cuisinart, and then I just keep it in the hamster room, and I just blend up whatever I can, so any nuts that are out of their shells, you can blend up. And I just kind of sprinkle that on his logs or various places. I'm sorry. And so the problem is he doesn't like fresh food or wet food. He's a very strange hamster. He doesn't eat like fruit or vegetables or egg. I mean, even eggs, like he ate them once or twice and then he was like, I'm done. So I was having trouble giving him antibiotics, and he's very skittish. He will bury himself at the bottom corner of his large vista. So getting him out is like kind of a nightmare. And I have to like dismantle his whole cage to find him. So I started actually, and it worked, I have to say. So this is like a little win for me. If you have a hamster like this, you're having trouble getting them to take their meds, I noticed he really likes the tofu and he really likes the ground up Missouri lab blocks. So I just I put the drop of medicine on a plate, on a tiny like sushi plate. And then I put the ground up Missouri lab block on there, and I just kind of like rubbed it around so it absorbed the medicine, and without fail he would eat it every time. So that was super successful. It was a big relief for me because I thought, oh my God, am I gonna have to try to dig him out twice a day every day and scruff him and try to make him take this? I don't think it's gonna go well. So this is just such a smoother way to give him medicine, and I feel very relieved that I no longer have to worry about that. So, if you have a hamster who has an illness, you have to give them medication. The first thing I always recommend is like figure out what their food is that they love the most and put it on that. So for me, typically scrambled eggs work really well, but every hamster has their thing. Like Thor loved bananas, or like I could have like a pureed, like pureed mango, pureed banana, pureed fruit he was really into. And I like the puree because they can't pouch it, so they usually just eat it right away. Other hamsters of mine, like Laverne, she loved broccoli and cucumbers and scrambled eggs. So eventually broccoli and cucumber worked at first. Eventually she got on to the medicine being on it, but a scrambled egg she would always eat. So that was a really good one. So just figure out what your hamster's weakness is, go with that. And usually that will work. I see people post about this all the time in Facebook groups, what to do about their hamster who has to take medicine and they're having trouble scruffing them. And even if you're good at scruffing, like with Laverne, honestly, even scruffing, I mean, she was like you could not get her to take the meds. She would spit it out. It just was stressful for everyone involved. So once I figured out that she likes scrambled eggs, it just made life so much easier. So I would recommend going that route if you can. I'm trying to think if I have any other updates this week. I did also get the Bukasat cheese sand bath, and I posted about that on YouTube and stories. So I have the large and the small. The small and large are very different in size. So just a warning there if you're interested in these. I got them. I was having trouble with two of my robos actually. So Ella is a tiny little robo, and she loves to like kick all of her sand out of her sand bath and also get everything in it. And I kept losing sand because she would just like kick it, and then it's like, I don't know, it would be really hard for me to get it out of her bin. And so the problem is she eventually just wouldn't have a sand bath. There'd be no more sand in there, and I'd have to keep refilling it. And so I realized I needed a new option, and I wanted something more enclosed. So I decided to go with this. It's called the Bukasat cheese sand bath, or I think they call it bathroom. But the size large is actually really great. It's like pretty tall, so it's a lot of digging room. And because it's a wedge shape like cheese, it can fit into a corner really nicely. So it's great when you have limited space. Which, I mean, realistically, we're all working with some sort of limitations, even if you have like the large vista. I mean, it's still not, you still have to make some sacrifices somewhere, right? So, but she's in a bin, she's in a 200 quart bin cage. So, it's great. It's great. I have it in a corner. So far it's been really handy. She did get a lot of her hemp bedding in it recently. I don't know. She must have had a wild night one night. So I do need to clean it out a little bit, but it's so much better than it was. And at least she consistently has sand, which is was my goal. The size small one I put in Miles' cage. I originally bought the large and the small to use both of them in Ella's cage. I was going to put the small one up on a platform for her as just like an extra kind of place she could get cozy in. But I decided to give it to Miles, at least initially, because he's a spinning hamster. I also have trouble with him keeping his sand bath clean. And he does like to go to the bathroom in the sand bath. So it's a little bit of a conflict of interest here. Like, he gets a lot of bedding in there, but then he also likes to use it as a place to go to the bathroom. And it's hard for me to keep it clean because he spins. So I decided to give him this small one and put it in a corner on a platform. And I haven't seen him use it. Even on a camera, I haven't seen him, but I know he is because I can see his tiny footprints in there and I can see he's going to the bathroom. So that's good. And it's successful so far at keeping bedding out. So that's great. And it's a new item and something interesting for him to explore. So that's also good for him. It isn't as big as I like, so maybe I'll just get a second one, or I haven't quite decided what to do for him. But it's there for now, and I did put a little video of it on YouTube Shorts if you want to see kind of like size scale wise how big it is. It is pretty petite, but it's very cute. It would be cute in a playpen or like maybe as like an auxiliary sand bath. Sometimes I like to give like a big open sand bath and then like a little one where they, maybe go eat snacks or go to the bathroom. And if you have dwarf hamsters or robos, you know that they have like multiple uses for their sand baths, and each hamster is different, so you'll kind of figure out like what it is they like. But yeah, having multiples is great. So I think it's a great product. I think it's really cute and very functional. It's acrylic. I mean, you can easily wash it, which I think is great, especially if you have a hamster who goes to the bathroom in the sand bath. It's great to have it be washable. So I might even get a second one so I can just kind of like transfer, like take it out, clean it, and like pop in a new one. Because the process of cleaning it and cleaning the sand, you got to let it dry. You need to bake the sand. It's going to be, usually at least it takes me a day or two to get it fully cleaned. So having a second might be advantageous. Yeah, I haven't quite figured out what to do yet. I've only put them in the cage, but I haven't cleaned them yet. So just next steps. And FYI, if you are new to hamstering, you can clean sand. I think this is a big thing. When I hear people throw away sand, it just like makes me crazy. I mean, okay, at very least, please just dump it outside. Like, it's just sand. You don't need to throw it away. It does not need to go in the trash. But you can wash it, and it's super easy. I did a video about it. And seriously, all it is like, first you sift out the other stuff. So get out the bedding and the little poops and stuff. And then just put a light like kitchen towel inside a colander, put the sand in there, and just run water through it. And I run it until it, smells clean. Because at first you'll kind of like, especially if you use hot water, you'll kind of smell the urine, and then it'll smell clean. And then you just put it in a pan and you bake it. Sometimes it takes a while, like an hour or two at like 350, 400, but just bake it, let it cool. It can take a while to cool as well. And then just throw it back in, you can wash the sand bath container in the meantime, and then you can just put it back. So that process often takes like a few days for me. So what I do is I usually have extra sand bath vessels and also extra sand. And so once the sand is clean, I put it in a Tupperware and I keep it in the hamster room, and I can just kind of cycle through. So that way I have kind of a way of cleaning them. And up until this point, all of my hamsters had the same sand bath, which is like an acrylic tray. Some of them have different sizes, but they all have acrylic trays. And then I put like a jar or some hide in it. So this is a first for me that I have something different. And it's nice to have it all be the same, because then it's easy for me to just kind of have these components that I can like wash and then put back. And it works for all of my hamsters, that they're pretty much interchangeable. So having a specific one for Ella and Miles is a little bit of a problem, because it, when you have 7 hamsters, like you kind of have to have some systems in place. So this is going to add a little more complication to my life, but I think, I needed a solution, because the open tray sand bath was just not working for them. So I'll let you guys know what I end up doing, but probably I will just buy multiples. That's, to be honest, that's probably what I'm going to do. So I think that's it. That's all I have for today. Yeah. So I'm going to keep working on this playpen and hopefully get some photos of them at the carnival. It might take some time before I upload photos and edit them and all that good stuff, but keep an eye out. And like I said, this is my last podcast of this season, season 1. If you're listening and you've been a listener, thank you so much for joining me so far. I know it's been a little rocky with different things and different sound equipment. Today, I actually have a new mic. The mic is the same, but I have a new like sound installation and sort of like setup, and I think it's working better. We'll see when I edit it, but I feel I'm getting good vibes, very good vibes. So let me know what you think, and if you have any feedback and anything you'd like to see for season 2, and hopefully I will see you in my next season of Rachel Got Hamsters, the podcast. And as always, feel free to email me, rachelgothamsters@gmail.com. And you can find me on Instagram or my website, rachelgothamsters.com. And yeah, leave me comments. Whatever it is you typically do, I would love to hear from you. All right, see you soon.